Hey guys, good morning, good morning.
Benefits are available to you with offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale. Call toll free 1-855-LA 3782. 1-855-FLA 3782. Seniors, Medicare open enrollment is coming. Iowa Advisors has all the education you need to make an informed decision about your plan for you and your family. Iowa Advisors specializes.
All right. Good morning. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Those of you who are not new, like the video if you don't mind. That helps a lot.
Call Debbie at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1. And now, here's Steve.
Yes. Welcome, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Welcome one and all to the program. And of course, we are here live weekday mornings from 6 until 9 a.m. with overnight rebroadcast midnight till 6 a.m. And you can listen to us on the radio here in South Florida on AM 1470, 96.9 FM, and 95.3 on the FM radio dial. You can also listen to us on the iHeart Radio app. Just search for our radio station call letters, WWNN, 2 W's, 2 N's. And of course, watch me on any mobile device or your television on YouTube. Just search Brian Craig or The Brian Craig Show. You can watch me live on YouTube with our very, very active and often over-opinionated chat room of people that we have there. All right, so the Biden administration is sending the FBI after parents who are opposing critical race theory at their schools. And I'll get into this in a little more detail and go through some stories. But what's going on here right now with the American liberals, with Biden, with the Democrats, and this declaring, not basically, they are declaring parents opposed to critical race theory as domestic terrorists. This is not something new with the Democrats, with the radical lunatics that are running things. Democrats have thought this way and believed this in their heart for a long, long time, that Republicans are white supremacists, that Republicans are domestic terrorists. Look, anytime there's some extremist that goes on, notice they always call them a right-wing extremist. When have you heard the mainstream media ever refer to a left-wing extremist, right? It's always a right-wing extremist, and it's never the case. And this is something they've been talking about for a long time. This really happened after the Oklahoma City bombing, and they had this obsession with militias. And, of course, the militias were right-wing domestic terrorists and all of this stuff. And the difference between... There is something new about this, though. What's new about it is they're led by a corrupt public official. His name is Joe Biden, who spent his entire life being a corrupt public official, and even said, Greg Kelly on Newsmax TV uncovered some fascinating interviews that a young Senator Biden gave, and he talked about how he went into government to be corrupt. So what they're doing that is new and is different is they are abusing their power and using federal law enforcement and the federal government to deem anyone conservative a domestic terrorist, in particular MAGA. And they started this with the Capitol breach, and they're continuing it all the time now. And this critical race theory with the parents, I mean, this is a very serious cultural shift. You know, a lot of people a lot of people that, if you're listening to me right now, chances are you don't support critical race theory. I mean, there are a lot of you that are Democrats, but I think even most Democrats don't support critical race theory. And what critical race theory is very hardcore racist materials. It says that all white people are born racist, that all whites are racist, and that if they do not support every bit of our agenda, they are a racist who's promoting racism, whether or not they're a Republican or a Democrat. It's completely anti-white, a white thought process. I got the book from that Abraham guy, How to Be an Anti-Racist, and I got this book months ago. It was either the beginning of this year or the end of last year, and I got it on tape. I got the audio book, and I'd listen to it in the car, so I could understand what this anti-racism, critical race theory was all about. And it's frightening. It's frightening. It has no business in the public schools. And what they have done, the Democrats, this latest thing with the parents and Garland, Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, what they have done is not just a major cultural shift, but what they have done is anyone who disagrees with them on anything, you can be a liberal Democrat and you disagree with them on one issue and you are a white supremacist. You're guilty until they decide you're not guilty, but you're always guilty and have a debt to pay. And they believe that all MAGA, all Republicans, all conservatives are segregationist, when in fact they are the segregationists who are bringing it back. They think we are like those white Democrats you see in the black and white news footage screaming racial slurs at the first black students to be integrated into the public schools, when in fact it's reversed now. It's complete. What used to about this a lot, it's complete reverse discrimination. Just like in Hollywood, they had this after this Harvey Weinstein thing with the Me Too. Every show stars a woman, usually a black woman, but always a woman. And like there's this new FX series, The Last Man, and it's based on a graphic novel. And it's been a long time, but I remember those. I read those graphic novels about the last man on Earth. A virus wipes out all men except one, and women are left behind. It's on FX, and I've watched the first couple of episodes. It does not resemble the graphic novel at all. And there's one man in it, and he's the most effeminate man I've ever seen in my life. It's what they're doing is bizarre, and Hollywood, while they were standing up against sexism, have become sexist. Civil rights-minded people have now become racist. And critical race theory is very divisive. And parents get very upset about it for very good reason. It's an ideological education that they don't want their children indoctrinated to. We used to talk about how the colleges were liberal re-education camps or liberal re-indoctrination centers, right? Or that's true about colleges. But what they've done is taken that left-wing agenda that they brainwash college students with, and they brought it to K through 12, probably pre-K too. And I don't know how many of you were around during the desegregation period. I was bused, from a school I could practically see from my bedroom window to one across town, and it was pretty much a 100% black school until they bussed us in, and there was, so I don't know if that's considered integration, being bused like that in the 70s, but we went to a school, this was in Columbus, Ohio, and we went to a school that was a pretty far drive away from the neighborhood school, of course, and, and I remember I missed the bus one day, and my mom took me to school and dropped me off. I was the only white kid within, 5 miles until the buses arrived because we got there before the buses. But even though there was an integration going on, because that's basically what it was an integration, busing in some ways, there was never any discussion of it. There was never any discussion of it. It just was done, and we were in school together. And, you know, the thing about kids in K through 12, especially the younger grades, there's no racism there. Unless their parents are and brainwash them with it, but there's no racism among kids. Kids are not judgmental like that. And what they're doing is they're trying to do, and they're having success in some places, they're trying to turn the K through 12 system, the pre-K through 12 system, into a place where they indoctrinate children into the Democrat liberal ideology. And there is a Democrat, very radical revolution taking place in this country through this critical race theory, through the southern border that's open. You know, the northern border's been locked down, but the southern border's been open. You know, and this is a major left-wing, very radical ideological revolution taking place. And they're winning on many grounds. This is something we've never seen at this level, something we've never experienced before. And now they have this new thing where if you oppose them on critical race theory in the public schools, you are a domestic terrorist. If you don't want your children being indoctrinated into this, you are a domestic terrorist. This is insanity. It's insanity. And it's got to be discussed. And I want to hear your thoughts on it at 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. I was talking to someone I know who's a school teacher, and the science textbooks already are having different genders in it. You know, there's the genders beyond the biological genders. You know, I was watching television the other night. I was watching live television, which I don't usually do. I usually either DVR or watch things on Hulu, you know. And so I don't usually see the television commercials. And I saw this through multiple commercial breaks. It was NBC I was watching. There was not a single commercial that had white men in it. It was black women mostly, or black couples in every commercial. And there's nothing wrong with the face of that. I mean, obviously, you know, we're a multicultural society, and television commercials and television programs, it makes sense that there's diversity in them. But there really isn't, you know, they push so hard for diversity that there is no diversity anymore. You know, by not hiring white actors to be in things, male or female, and certainly male actors to be in any commercials. You know, we have the new season of television shows coming. How many new shows on television star white people as the main character? New shows. There's one show I watch on ABC, The Rookie, with Nathan Fillion. Any of you guys watch The Rookie with Nathan Fillion? I like Nathan Fillion. Okay, I like Nathan Fillion. But they have a new character on The Rookie this year, who is the new rookie, because Nathan Fillion was the rookie, and now the show's been on 4 years, so they can't drag it out any longer. He's no longer the rookie. That happened on Adam 12 too. The guy on Adam 12 was a rookie, and then after a while he wasn't. So they got a new rookie. He is a new rookie, new on the job, and he's a black former TikTok star. He was a TikTok influencer celebrity with millions of followers, who was put on trial for murder in a high-profile global case. And they have this storyline where he was accused of murdering his roommate in France, and there was this high-profile story, this whole high-profile trial, and it was televised around the world like OJ. And of course he was acquitted, and he's become not Wookiees, the Rookie. Wookiees would be Star Wars. And now he's a cop on the job. And the other officers, even the black officers, really didn't want to work side by side of him because he was like OJ famous. And then he gives this speech at the end while he has become a police officer to do what's right because people that look like him are so often falsely accused, and he doesn't want to allow that to happen, and he's going to stop. He's going to stop others from being falsely accused. So they've got this woke BLMer as the new Rookie on The Rookie with Nathan Fillion on ABC television. You know, and these are very dangerous and scary times we are in. So we'll take our first break of the day. I'd love to hear from you guys on the phones about this at 1-888-GO-CANE1. Yeah, I used to be a liberal. Absolutely, I used to be a liberal. You know why? Why would somebody in the chat room, oh, Brian used to be a liberal. It's like that's discounting me. Why do you think I used to be a liberal and today I'm not? You know what? By the way, Donald Trump used to be a liberal Democrat. Ronald Reagan used to be a Democrat. Why do you think I used to be a liberal and now I'm not? I'll tell you why. It's pretty simple. Well, let me see if you can figure it out. Why was I a liberal at one point in my life and I am not now? There's an answer that I don't know if any of you could get. Give me a call and let me know why you think that is. Why was I a liberal at one point in my life and now I am not? I know the reason why. See if you can figure it out. 1-888-GO-CANE1. Toll-free call. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling,
these are just readers.
Your roof is older than 15 years.
They're reading glasses.
Call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Now, call me on the air and tell me. Call me on the air and tell me why was I a liberal and I am no more.
With someone who has coronavirus? Steve Kane's wife Lori did, and she went to Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs to find out if she has coronavirus.
So I came into contact with somebody who tested positive for COVID, and I was scared, and I needed results right away, so I went to Any Lab Test Now in Coral Springs. It was great. I didn't want to have to stay in line for 2 hours and have a swab stuck down my nose into my brain. It was very pleasant. I made an appointment. They got me in within the hour. I was out of there within 20 minutes. Thank goodness the test was negative, and I can go back to work tomorrow. They also tested me for the antibodies.
No, it's not the taxes.
So do what I did.
It's not the
Go
taxes.
To Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They give great rates for Steve Kane listeners, and tell them we sent you.
It's worth 15 minutes of your time to have peace of mind and know that you and your family are safe. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. You can call them at 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, I'm not going to troll for calls on this because I want to get to this issue with the Department of Justice and critical race theory. The reason I used to be a liberal and I'm not today is a pretty simple one. I grew up. I used to believe in Santa Claus. Used to believe in the Easter Bunny. Used to believe in the Tooth Fairy. True. How many of you used to believe in the Tooth Fairy, the Easter Bunny, and Santa? Then you grew up. That's right. You grew up. And that's why I used to be a liberal and I'm a Republican now. I grew up. So listen to this. These are scary, because I just don't want to troll for calls here about me on that issue, because I want to hear your thoughts on critical race theory and this classifying the Biden administration, parents opposed to critical race theory, as domestic terrorists. This is in the Post-Millennial, which is a very, very good conservative website. It's out of Canada. thepostmillennial.com. After the National School Board Association called on the Biden administration to take action against unruly parents who keep showing up at school board meetings, the Department of Justice, under Attorney General Merrick Garland, who Obama wanted to put on the Supreme Court, has taken up the cause against parents. The National School Board Association, hold on, I lost my place here. They just updated the story, so it decided it wanted to refresh it. Okay. The National School Board Association encouraged the Biden administration to classify the actions of concerned parents as, quote, the equivalent to a form of domestic terrorism and hate crimes. See, if you disagree with them, you're committing a hate crime, too. The letter from the National School Board Association was sent to Biden last week. America's public schools and its education leaders are under immediate threat, the letter read, saying the National School Board Association respectfully asks for federal law enforcement and other assistance to deal with the growing number of threats and violence and acts of intimidation occurring across the nation. The letter from the National School Board Association cites incidents of impassioned parents who have become aggressive at school board meetings and says this: as these acts of malice, violence, and threats against public school officials have increased, the classification of these heinous actions should be the equivalent to a form of domestic terrorism and hate crimes. As such, it continues, the National School Board Association requests a joint review by the U.S. Department of Justice, Education, and Homeland Security, along with the appropriate training, coordination, investigations, and enforcement mechanisms from the FBI, including any technical assistance necessary from state and local coordination, its National Security Branch and Counterterrorism Division, as well as any other federal agency with relevant jurisdictional authority and oversight. That's a mouthful of words in that sentence. Garland's Department of Justice has stated that a primary concern is domestic extremism, and wrote the FBI and U.S. attorneys' offices will meet during the next month with law enforcement leaders across the country to discuss strategies for addressing this disturbing trend. Threats against public servants are not only illegal, they run counter to our nation's core values, Garland said. Does that include following sitting United States senators in the toilets and stalking them onto aircraft and confronting them in flight? I wonder. Those who dedicate their time and energy to ensuring that our children receive a proper education. See, they've decided what's proper. And by the way, Garland, they're not your children. In a safe environment, deserve to be able to do their work without fear for their safety. The reason, you know, do you know why these parents are flipping out at these school boards? You know why? Why? Why are parents flipping out at school boards? Pretty simple. Pretty simple. I'm going to ask and answer the question. I'm going to answer my own question. Then if you're on hold, stand by. I will go to the calls. The reason that parents are flipping out at school boards over the critical race theory issue is because it is their natural instinct as a parent to protect their children. And their rights as a parent over their children is being taken away from them by these school boards. Now, the school boards in particular that we've been hearing most of this is out of Virginia. And some of this on my podcast last night, which you guys should listen. I had a great podcast Do you all listen to my podcast, the Brian Craig Show podcast, on most podcast platforms, on my YouTube channel as well? You should. Named the number 3 must-listen-to conservative podcast in America. Number 1, Mark Levin. Number 2, Glenn Beck's The Blaze. Number 3, must-listen-to conservative podcast, the Brian Craig Show podcast. That's true. It's the natural instinct of a parent to protect their child. And what's happening is their children's minds are being kidnapped from them. You know, one of my favorite Halloween movies is Poltergeist. You guys love Poltergeist? Jo Beth Williams, Craig T. Nelson. Remember Jo Beth Williams going up against the demons? Give me back my baby! Remember all of that? Running down the hallway in her underwear and football jersey. Give me back my baby! And she went into the thing. That's the natural instinct for a parent. And while their children in these schools are not being physically abducted, their minds are being abducted by these radical leftists who think they know better, they know how their children should think more than the parents do. That's what's going on here. And that's why these parents are flipping out. And I know a lot of people say, well, take them out of the public schools. I got news for you. Not everyone can afford private school. Not everyone can homeschool. And that's a reality. It's easy. Oh, go to private school. Well, that's okay if you're rich. I couldn't afford private school for my kid when she was in school. She's a college student now. But I couldn't afford private school education K through 12. Most people cannot, especially after the last year and a half we've had in this country. Right? Yeah, their minds are being snatched, and parents' natural instinct is to protect their children. It's true. It's true. All right, 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian.
Hey, Richie.
How you doing this morning? This is so obvious to me, and you're pretty well on it. You know, during the Hitler days, they had all these little Nazi kids zig-heiling Hitler, and it was like an indoctrination.
Well, you're talking about the Hitler Youth, and remember what the Hitler Youth. The Hitler Youth was two things. It was indoctrination into socialism, the National Socialism, but it was also a police force to report parents to the Nazis if they said something that they didn't agree with.
Yeah, here's the deal. You hit it on the head. It started with Democrats years ago when they said it takes a village. No, it doesn't take a village. If you have a mother and father, it takes a mother and a father. It doesn't take a damn village. The only reason it took a village is because of the Dems giving out all the welfare money, causing marriages to break up, and giving more money to the single woman, and just separating family units.
Yeah.
Have come right out and said that they don't believe in the family unit. So now it's government taking over. And not that you want to go farther than the school, they want to go preschool, and they want to give you free preschool. Who do you think is going to be the teachers in those preschools?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you see it. Sometimes I'll play these videos. These teachers on TikTok who won't do the pledge and have the transgendered flags. There's a video a day of a liberal teacher talking about how they come out to their class as non-binary or this and that. The new age of teachers, most teachers are in their 20s and 30s, and this new generation of millennial teachers don't view themselves as teachers, but as activists.
They're acting smart. And here's the other thing. Another reason why I see this terrible revolution. I don't have stocks in any of the energy companies like Exxon or Shell or any of those. Okay? The fact of the matter is, every time it can't put over with private industry.
Well, we got a bad connection. We got a bad connection with you.
Well, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. The government, Biden yesterday, right, what he was saying was we can put all these electric charging stations. The government is taking over the energy. The private industry is not putting up these charging stations. ExxonMobil and all. So in other words, we're shifting from capitalism to government-owned. And guess where that is? Venezuela, Russia. We're going to communism here before our eyes.
Well, we've been, since when they started the welfare state, the Democrats with Lyndon Johnson, We've been a socialist country really since Roosevelt came into office in 1933, and now they're just kind of completing their I don't know, socialism. They're completing their communist revolution is what they're doing.
And that's exactly what we have here.
I mean, look at this thing Biden was talking about to pay for this was just making a $1 trillion platinum coin. That's crazy talk. That's Weimar Republic time, man. But there's this thing about the critical race theory, you know, what they are doing is saying that if you are a parent and you disagree with your school board, and how many people on the school board have kids in that school system? Usually they don't. You are now a domestic terrorist if you want to be a parent. Good parenting is now extreme as a good parent is now being a good parent is now being Tim McVeigh or Muhammad Atta.
Also, they're also telling the kids this gender-neutral crap that's 16 genders going on. What does this little kid have to know about that?
You know, I was talking to Dr. Lemaski about this once. A few years ago, we were talking about this. Why are there so many young kids that are now gay? And what Dr. Lemaski said, and I didn't think about this until she said it, she says there's more options now for kids. And because there's that option, more of them are taking that option. Not necessarily because they're born gay or whatever. There's just options that weren't available before. And all these different genders and everything, it's a very scary time. This is beyond when we used to debate about gays in the Boy Scouts and things like this. This is a whole new level we're in.
This is either you're an American or you're a communist. Because, listen, AOC just lied to her out of her teeth the other day when she said, I'm from the Bronx. She's from Westchester County.
Yeah.
Think about Upper Westchester County. It's very affluent. She never had I'm sure she had everything she wanted as
Richie, I'm going to let you run because your phone's cutting in and out. I can only hear like half of every other word. So take care. Call back when you got a better connection. Listen, we got to take our break for the bottom of the hour anyway. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Hi, Brian Craig here. We've been telling you on the Steve Kane Show, for coronavirus testing, stop by any lab test now of Coral Springs and any lab test now of Boca. One of our longtime sponsors, Dr. Mitch Matez of the Boca Raton Center for Age Management, went to any lab test now of Boca for coronavirus testing this weekend, and he called in live on the radio to share his experience.
Listen, Brian, I have a great experience to tell you about. I went to any lab test now on Saturday to get COVID-19 tested. And it was awesome. We had a little experience where we had somebody in our close circle that tested positive after 10 days, by the way. Went and had a test. It took 10 days to get the results. We all went into a little bit of a panic, obviously. So we called up any lab test now. It was about maybe 11:30 in the morning on Saturday. They said, come on right on over. I was anonymous. I didn't announce myself. We went over there. We got there about noon. We checked in. 2 minutes later, they took us back. Did our test. We sat in the waiting room for less than 15 minutes. They brought us back, gave us our results, which were negative, and we were on our way home. And a little shout out to Brittany, the nice young lady who did our test. It was completely painless. It was quick, it was simple, it was easy, and it gave you both the IgM and the IgG antibodies, which tells you if you have the infection now or if you've been exposed to it in the past.
Now, you went to any lab test now of Boca?
Boca Raton, yeah, in the Sandalfoot Plaza.
Awesome.
It was awesome. It really was. It was cool. And it's easy, it's simple, and I'm telling you, that's the way to go. So forget this 10-day nonsense.
Doctor recommended. Can I say that in the commercial now? Doctor recommended. Any lab test now of Boca Raton.
Yeah, doctor recommended. Yeah, it was really kind of cool, and it was wonderful, and it was easy. And listen, to that end, go over and get tested. This is the test you want to get. It tells you point blank, did you have it, do you have it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's great. So Dr. Mitch Matez personally recommending any lab test now of Boca. You heard Dr. Mitch Matez. Any lab test now of Boca is doctor recommended for coronavirus testing. They're located in the Sandalfoot Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro on the east side of 441. Give them a
Choose
call.
life, choose freedom. You must be a George Michael and Wham fan. Choose Life was Wham, and Freedom was, wasn't that a George Michael album? It was certainly a song.
And Ramblewood over by the Coral Square Mall. Their number, 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on The Steve Kane Show.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing?
We're coming back. If you're new, make sure you subscribe.
Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. It is 38 minutes after the hour already. Oh my goodness, where is the show going? All right, so you may have seen this story in the news because the liberals are getting all excited about it. Now we've got parents who are being called domestic terrorists for being parents, right? We have. Well, they did let out the lieutenant colonel while he's facing trial, but they're investigating Marines now. The Biden administration, members of the United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines. Yeah, they're being investigated. Our great president, the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump, they're calling him an insurrectionist leader. Now you may have heard this story that the FBI has raided the headquarters of the New York City Police Union. Yeah, now the cops. Now, Merrick Garland, can you imagine if this guy would have made it to the Supreme Court of the United States? Oh my goodness. So the FBI has raided the headquarters of the New York City Police Union. Now, last summer, for the very first time ever in its history, the New York City Police Union endorsed a candidate for president of the United States. His name was Donald Trump. Now, a year later, all of a sudden, they're raided by the FBI. Coincidence? The Gateway Pundit. FBI raids the home of Ed Mullins. The New York City Police Benevolent Association is the largest police union in the country, representing 24,000 of New York City's 36,000 officers. Ooh, I was right. I got a good memory. It was last summer. In August 2020, leaders and representatives of the New York City Police Benevolent Association visited President Trump's Bedminster Golf Club in New Jersey and awarded their endorsement to President Donald Trump. According to the union president, Pat Lynch, this was the first time in the NYC PBA history that they endorsed a candidate for president. Democrats stood with the lawless and criminals across the country. So in 2020, they came out and endorsed President Trump because they had no support from the Democrats. Now, Tuesday, the FBI raided the home of the Sergeants Benevolent Association president, Ed Mullins, in a sweep that targeted the police union's Lower Manhattan headquarters. Now, this next part, this is from the New York Daily News that I'm reading from. New York Daily News. Federal investigators descended Tuesday on the Long Island home of controversial Sergeants Benevolent Association president Ed Mullins, and I guess controversial because he endorsed Trump, in a sweep that also targeted the police union's Lower Manhattan headquarters, the Daily News has learned. While the details of the probe remained under wraps, an FBI spokeswoman confirmed to the news that the agency was carrying out a law enforcement action in connection with an ongoing investigation into the Sergeants Benevolent Association. Ed Mullins, who famously called me a first-class, then a word I'm not going to use, for daring to ask questions about the SBA, just got a first-class raid from the FBI, tweeted Representative Richie Torres as words of the raid spread. A spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York declined to comment on the raids. Don't you see what's going on here? There has been a political purge going on in this country since Inauguration Day. They're doing it to the parents with the school board, the police union in New York, the Capitol breachers that have been held in solitary confinement. Political prisoners, a political purge. And you know what's scary about it? This is to me what's scary about it, is the Democrats actually believe they're saving us because we are just so wrong. They're so right. You know, I'm making a lot of movie references today. I don't know why, but I am. You ever see broadcast news? Broadcast news. Remember what was the name of the actress that played the lady producer? You ever see broadcast news? Old movie. Might have been the early 90s. Might have been the late 80s. Can't remember which. Oh, Holly Hunter. That was her name. Holly Hunter. She was this producer who was a know-it-all, and she's in the production room with one of the executives from the television network, and she was telling people what she thought, and the executive says to her, "It must be so terrible being right, so right all the time." And she says, "It is. It's a nightmare. I can't stand it." She didn't even realize she was. That's how the Democrats are. They're right, we're wrong. There's no in between. And if you disagree with them, you're a white supremacist. You're a domestic terrorist. You must be stopped at all cost. And those of you out there who are liberals, I know in the short term you're loving this stuff. But I don't think if you're a liberal and you're not upset, you're thinking clearly. You know, they're talking now about changing rules at the university campuses about free speech. That free speech can go too far now. They're talking about redoing all the free speech rules and regulations at universities in the United States. Because some speech is hate speech. Anything they don't want to hear is hate speech. They don't just want to limit speech. They want a law protecting them from hearing something that they don't want to hear. I'm telling you, this is the country we're in right now. And, you know, Justice Scalia said, you don't need the First Amendment to protect popular speech. The First Amendment is to protect unpopular speech. You know, Alan Dershowitz, I couldn't understand Alan Dershowitz when I was a child. I had Alan Dershowitz on my podcast, and I talked to him about this. You know, when I was a little kid, is when I was a little child, because it was like the 70s or so, he defended those Nazis. There was Nazis in Skokie. What state was Skokie in? Was Skokie in Illinois? And there was a group of neo-Nazis, American Nazis, who wanted to have a parade through this neighborhood in Skokie, and I want to say Illinois, and it was a Jewish neighborhood with a lot of Holocaust survivors in it. And of course, they weren't given the permit to do their parade, and Alan Dershowitz represented them. And when I was a kid, I didn't understand it because I was a child, but when I had Alan Dershowitz on my podcast, I was talking about this, and I said I couldn't understand, why is this Jewish guy defending Nazis' right to march in Skokie? And I said, you know, I was a child, but now I understand the First Amendment is to protect unpopular speech. And he said that's exactly right. But that's something that has been lost now. And this, if you're on hold, stand by. I got to take a break. I looked at the clock, and I'm already late for the break. So I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll get back to the calls and finish up on this. And those of you that are holding on, I'm sorry I've been droning on and on and on. This is just a scary time. I will go to the phones when we get back. Steve's been on me. I don't go to the phones fast enough. You know, I don't give out the number enough. I know. I don't want to be like Ben Shapiro and have so much to say nobody else gets an opportunity. So our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's K-A-N-E and the number 1. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands.
Steve Kane Show.
And Firestone at discount prices. That
hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van. At the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
This is Scott from Cut My Kilowatts. Give me a call today to save up to 50% on your insulation and radiant barrier, and up to 35% on your electric bill. That's 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, welcome back. 48 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Just got a text message from Al Knight, who does the Saturday show at 11 with Dr. Lemaski. Broadcast news was in the 80s. Oh, my gosh, I'm getting old. Oh, man, Albert Brooks in that. And William Hurt. Good movie. Very good movie. All right, better than Network. Network's overrated. I'm sorry. Free speech. Speaking of free speech... Look at the great Mike Lindell. The Thomas Edison of sleep invented the MyPillow with that patented fill that is just, it's changed my life. It's changed my life. And look at how his free speech is being limited. He is personally being sued because he supports President Trump and MAGA. His company is being sued. About 70 retailers will no longer carry his products. He has lost over $70 million because he supports President Trump and MAGA. And look how he stood up during the pandemic. He stood up in support of President Trump. You know, he made all these masks at no charge, and you know the hospitals wouldn't take them because they came from Mike Lindell. Do you know how much? He lost millions of dollars on the mask. He stopped making pillows and made masks at the height of the pandemic, and they wouldn't use it because they came from Mike Lindell. Can you imagine? And, you know, Mike Lindell and MyPillow have been sponsors on this program for a long, long time. Long before the controversies and he was under attack. And he's a good guy. And he stands up and he does what's right. And they have partnered with us on this program for several years now. And it's Christmas shopping season now, let's face it. You know, you hear all these stories about shipping delays and everything. You're not going to have that problem from MyPillow because everything comes from the factory in Minnesota. But I want to tell you about this incredible MyPillow mattress topper and the deal that Mike Lindell is offering listeners of the Steve Kane Show with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. Now, of course, I sleep on the MyPillow mattress topper every night. And by the way, every MyPillow product I have, my MyPillow slippers, my MyPillow 100% Giza cotton dream sheets, my MyPillows, my MyPillow bathrobes that my wife and I have, I have 2 MyPillow pet beds, and I have other things too. I have paid for all of them with these promo codes. The deals are unbelievable, and this one is an incredible deal. Right now, with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, you can get the MyPillow mattress topper for 50% off. That's a better deal than I got. 50% off. Comes in every size, from twin, all the queen, RV queen, king, California king, split king, full, twin XL, every size of mattress there is. They have a mattress topper for it. These mattress toppers are spectacular. They're made in the USA, come with a 10-year warranty, a 60-day money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied, although I can understand that. The 4 corner straps go on each corner of the mattress. It doesn't slip and slide ever. Stays in place. The cover, you can take it off. It's machine washable and dryable, and 50% off with the promo code KANE. Here's what you do. Now, every special at MyPillow.com you can take advantage of with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. This is something MyPillow and Mike Lindell did for us. They don't do this for everybody. They did this for us. I asked them if they could do it, and they did it because they appreciate this program and you and the listening audience and your support of the great Mike Lindell. So this is how you do it. You go to mypillow.com, click on the television specials. This is kind of like an insider hack you're getting here. Click on the television specials. You heard me right, the television specials, and you will see the mattress topper for 50% off when you use the promo code Kane at checkout. You can also order by phone, 800-716-4879. 800-716-4879, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, Sandra, what's up?
Well, what the teachers are doing, or they're correct. Not the teachers, I'm sorry, the students. What they're doing is they're protecting their kids. I raised my daughter not to know color. Okay, they are not domestic terrorists. The domestic terrorists were the ones who destroyed everything in the summer of... was never...
Well, a domestic terror, you could make a case for that. I'm not going to argue against that. But really what a domestic terrorist is, if you want a clear example of what domestic terrorism is, okay, is the Oklahoma City incident, the Olympic bombing. Those are incidents of domestic terrorism. Okay, the looting and things in the streets, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not defending it or justifying it like Don Lemon's been doing on CNN this week. But terrorism is the Olympic bomb and Oklahoma City. That's domestic terrorism.
But then how can Biden say that what the teachers or the parents of the students are doing is considered that?
Yeah. How can you say it?
It's not, and it's not.
Yeah. Well, because they hate Republicans. They have always believed that conservatives are white supremacist Nazi terrorists. They've always believed this. They've always believed this. Let me play something for you here, okay? The Daily Caller sent a young girl to a college campus in Texas and asked the liberal students, because they got this new abortion restriction in Texas, which is worse, the Taliban or the Texas GOP, right? Okay, this is a girl from the Daily Caller. She's talking to liberals on this Texas college campus. Listen.
Who would you say is more dangerous, the Taliban or Texas Republicans?
I would say both.
GOP is a hell of a lot more dangerous than the Taliban.
All right. Do I think they're equal in their hatred and control over women? Yes.
Okay. So the Texas Republicans are more dangerous and more oppressive than the Taliban. And they're not being sarcastic or joking. We have a generation of people, we have a political ideology in America today, the left, that are brainwashed. That is their reality.
I believe a lot of it is how they're brought up, because if your parents were liberal, they're going to make you liberal too.
This is beyond liberal. Now, this is different. This is different. Because what they're doing is, it doesn't matter what your parents are. If they're not liberal, they're not doing their job. So what they're doing is they're brainwashing them in the public schools with the critical race theory and everything else to think this way. They're taking them away. The parents' influence isn't doing the job. They're doing the influencing now. That's what's going on. It's a different thing now. It's not like that.
You're going to see a higher rise in stuff.
Well, most people cannot afford private school education, especially these days with the country being shut down for so long. And we shouldn't, and that's not the route to go. Why should we? Most people cannot afford private school. So why should we abandon the public schools? I had Peter Navarro on the show on Friday for the weekend rebroadcast. I interviewed Peter Navarro. I don't know if you heard it. And I was, talking about these things. He says we gotta get active at the school board level. We gotta get, really, I believe to be on a school board, you should have a child in that school system. And once your kids are out of it, you should be off the school board. But we've got to get good people elected to the school board. You know, the school boards are filled with corrupt public officials. They're all and they're all on the take for the companies that sell the computers to the district, or sell the paint to paint the schools, whatever it is. You know, and our city and county commissions are corrupt when it comes to zoning and other things. You know, we've got to get grassroots, and we focus in so much on national politics, which is important. While we were sleeping, the radical Soros people have taken over our school boards, city and county governments.
And if we don't get good school board members, this is just going to keep going on and going on and going on.
Mm-hmm. You know, people would be surprised. School boards are in charge of humongous budgets for a school system. It's right. There is corrupt. Members of your local school board, chances are they're as corrupt as Biden.
If I had a child in school now, which thank God I don't, I would be right there at the podium just like every other parent.
Well, then you would be caught. Then you would be under investigation as a domestic terrorist.
But all these parents that go to the podium and speak, how do they know they're Republicans or conservatives? They could be Democrats too.
Yeah, but if you're a Democrat and you're opposed to their critical race theory, it doesn't matter. You're still a domestic terrorist. Wrong speech. Hey, listen. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. How are you today?
Hey, is this Wisconsin, Gary?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Gary?
Doing good. I have to wait to get unloaded here, but I had to chime in on this of where these kids are all of a sudden getting off and thinking about, you know, that the Taliban is so much better. You know, these people need to go back to 9/11 and see what the heck happened to our country. You know, this is what really is a disrespectful thing for 20 years of what the Taliban has done. And basically, people saying that abortion is more bad than what happened on 9/11 with the Taliban, this is ridiculous.
I mean, you can't even get a haircut. You can't even get a beard trim in Afghanistan. Try to get an abortion. Try to be non-binary in Kabul right now.
But you know, like I ask my kids every single day, whether if I'm on the road or I'm at home, what did you learn today in school? Because I want to know, like science or whatever else, history, whatever they have. I want to know if they're trying to teach my son critical race theory. But our school system has done pretty good, you know. So I mean, they kind of leave that out, but that's why you mentioned in 2022. But I also think 2024 elections are also important as well. You as parents need to get involved. Go for a school board. Be part of the change instead of letting the Democrats change your child. That's what will affect your child's life and upbringing later on down the road.
They're at a point now where they're about to ban parents from having any say in the public school education.
Scared because we the people are tired of the bull that keeps coming out of those teachers' mouths to indoctrinate our children.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be that bad, and you need to stand up, go and be part of the fix in the system.
Well, what we need to do, what we really need, is to start getting our kids. I know everybody wants their kids to grow up and be a doctor, a lawyer, and be rich, but we need to start doing a recruitment of conservative MAGA youth into education. And it's a terrible thing. You know, I went to college as an adult while I was on the radio, and I have a degree in education and history. I never taught. You know, it doesn't pay enough money. You know, I can't support my family on a teacher's salary. But that's so I understand that teachers don't make a lot of money, and that's a problem. Okay, but we need to have a major. The way to solve this is to have a major recruitment drive of conservative-minded MAGA youth to become teachers. That's how you do it. That's what the liberals have been doing. That's how they have control in that classroom. And that's how we'll solve this. We're not going to solve it in school board meetings. We're not even going to solve it in school board elections. I have never seen a school board that wasn't corrupt, because there's too much money involved, and they're always making it. So the way to do it is to get teachers, and that's not that hard to do. Your kids just have to be open to earning less. But it's a good deal. They got the summers off every holiday. They work 9 months a year. It's an awesome life. It's great hours. So that's how we went. Hey Gary, I'm late for a break, but I gotta run. All right, take care. 2 minutes after 7, 1 hour down, 2 to go. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We have started with some very good calls today. Thank you very much. Very good quality, high quality calls on the line. 1-888-465-2631. We'll take a break. This is the Steve Kane Show. Hour number 2 begins now.
Covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
You've heard Steve Kane talk about the great work and the incredible prices at Dr. Gupta's Brighton Dental. Richie the bus driver called Steve Kane on the air and told him about his experience at Brighton Dental.
Good morning. I have to talk about Brighton Dental because your sponsor is a miracle worker. I broke my tooth. I fractured it and it went backwards in my mouth. Oh my front top tooth. I put it back into the socket. It felt like it was falling out. I had pain. I couldn't even eat spaghetti. And I was going to a wedding in New York 2 days later, and I said, what am I going to do, The dentist here wanted to charge me $120 just to look at it and to tell me he couldn't do anything. I went to Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. I traveled 139 miles. I would do it again in a heartbeat, each way, okay? The man sat and worked on my tooth for 2 hours, put a pin in it, put it back in place. I could eat anything I want. He said it was temporary. He did such a great job. It feels like permanent. I have no pain. I can eat anything I want now. And the fact of the matter, this is what really was unbelievable. I was getting on the bus to go to the reception, okay, in New York City. He knew I was in New York. The phone rings. Who do you think's on the line? Dr. Gupta. Right. He wants to see if everything is going okay and if I'm in any pain. The guy is unbelievably wonderful. I mean, thank you so much. I wouldn't have been able to eat. I wouldn't have been able to go. I would have looked like a pumpkin.
Everybody needs a great dentist, and of course, for you Steve Kane listeners, you have one, Dr. Gupta, and he's over there at Brighton Dental. He takes really good care of you. He's very conscientious. He's, dentistry is an art when you stop and you think about it. And Dr. Gupta certainly is an artist, and we're so pleased to have him with us.
Yeah, I just wanted them to know if you need a dentist, and the guy is so good at what he does, he's so gentle, and I mean, I don't like dentists. This guy is just top shelf. And I'm going down to him to get it permanently put in, but right now, I don't have any pain. I can eat anything I want. Incredible.
Take Richie the bus driver's advice and go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. Call 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Seniors, Medicare open enrollment is quickly approaching. Call I Will Advisors for a free review of your existing healthcare policy and learn about all of your Medicare options. Call Debbie at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Hi, my name is
Yvette Rivera, $20 super sticker. You are amazing. Well, thank you, Yvette. Everybody thank Yvette for that. That is awesome. Thank you so much.
1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KAY. That's 1-888-GO-KAY.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. If you're just tuning in the first hour, we were talking primarily about Obama's Supreme Court choice, the Attorney General Garland deciding that if you oppose critical race theory, you're a domestic terrorist now. They're going to send the FBI and Homeland after you. It's crazy, crazy. And, you know, we have a lot of listeners in Australia. It amazes me how many people listen to this program in Australia. And Australia is under some of the most severe restrictions in America. I mean, in America, in the world. Some of the most dramatic restrictions you've seen on people on the planet during COVID are happening in Australia. I'm going to play a clip here. They're doing this new selfie check thing in Australia. You know, they've completely eliminated your ability to leave your house in Australia, and they have a new selfie check where you are being monitored. Let me play. It's just 30 seconds. This is a local news reporter in Australia explaining the new selfie check requirement in Australia.
Has gone out to everyone in home quarantine in Victoria to take part of our pilot program, and what that means is that they will receive random phone calls and they have to answer within 5 minutes with a selfie sent to this app, which will then geo-track where that person is and to make sure that they are who they say they are as well. If they don't answer within that 5-minute period, that's when health officers come knocking, Pete.
Okay. So in Victoria, which is a state there, those of you in Australia, oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. You know, so I don't know if this is just Victoria or if it's in other states. I don't even know how many states there are in Australia. But there's Victoria, Queensland, and I don't know, and the Outback. I don't know any other regions, and the Outback's probably not a state. But you're not allowed to leave your house, and they're going to check on you. The authorities are going to call you at home. Everybody's under house arrest. It's a penal colony again. The authorities will call you at home. If you do not answer within 5 minutes, okay, they will send the police to your house. God help you if you're on the toilet or in the shower or sleeping. They will send the police to your house. And if you're not there, an all points bulletin will be put out for you. And I know, this is insane. And when you answer the phone, you have to take a selfie of yourself on the phone. You have to upload it to this government app. They are going to do facial recognition to make sure that you are the person who is supposed to live at that house. And they're also going to do a geo-trace and time trace to make sure the photo was taken then and at the house that you are saying that you were at. And I know, you know, we don't spend a lot of time talking about things like this in other countries. We really don't. But this one, don't you understand? This is the Democrat model. This is what they're doing here in a different way. This new domestic terrorist thing with the critical race theory parents opposed to a critical race theory. They're doing a very similar thing here in a different way on different things. All right, let me take some calls here. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hey, this is Joe in North Carolina. How you doing?
All right, Joe. What's up?
Hey, did you hear the latest I saw this morning on the local news? Herschel Walker's son is going to UCLA. Did you have a story about him, the Democratic lunacy that's going on out there?
Well, what are they doing? Well, he's not.
He's a senior at UCLA, paying $70,000 a year. Of course, it's all paid by his dad up front. So he received a call. He taped it and played it up for his the radio people and TV people. where the university is telling him he has to give them his vaccination to show or prove that he's been vaccinated.
Well, that's I gotta tell you, that's his own fault.
You don't even.
I get it, but that's it. I know it's stupid. I know, but that's his own fault. What do you expect? Why would you send your kid? Why would you send your kid to college in California? Why you send your kid to college in a communist state to a communist university, and we're supposed to that's your own fault. Herschel Walker, I love him, but he should have sent his kid to Florida State University or Georgia State University or Hillsdale College. If he sent him to college in New York City, he'd sit there and have to listen to Iranian leaders visiting and speaking. So that's Herschel Walker's mistake, and he's responsible for that.
Whatever happened to Trump and Lindell's own? Hopefully, with
they never will. Trump will never be back on Twitter. They will never allow him back on Twitter.
Whatever happened? I haven't heard any more about that. Is that just?
Well, what we have. Well, Mike Lindell started Frank Speech. It was hacked twice, and it's still not up and running as Mike Lindell intended it to be because the hackers, brought it down. Trump didn't start his own social media. Someone inside the Trump organization started Gitter. But they're never going to let Trump back on Twitter. I knew before the Capitol breach, I knew they were going to dump him on Twitter. President Trump said many, many times, Twitter and Facebook got him elected. And he said being on Twitter is like having your own news network without all the expenses. And when he said that it got him elected, they wanted to get rid of him on that for years. And the Capitol breach gave them an opportunity to do that. And even though no one's been charged with insurrection, and investigators have cleared Trump and his entire staff of having any connection to the Capitol breach, if you watch liberal media, they still refer to him as an insurrectionist leader. So they're never going to put him back on Twitter. He's appealing it now, but they're not. They're not. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian.
Hey, Andrea, what's up?
So I want everybody to think back, because what's going on in Australia was actually instituted at the very beginning of the pandemic, when all of these leading phone companies uploaded the contact tracing application onto your phone. That's when this really started. So they uploaded the software onto your phone where they could geolocate you any time or place and know exactly who you're with based on the cell tower. So that started a long time ago.
Yes.
What you're witnessing right now with the federal government going against these parents. So what's going to have to happen, and it's going to be rough and it's going to be scary, is that we cannot be afraid of these people. This is what they're doing, is psychological warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Psychological warfare. It's not, it's not like physical warfare. It's psychological warfare. It's intimidation. So you can't be afraid when people call you a racist. You can't be afraid when they label you a domestic terrorist. You cannot be afraid because...
Well, this is the thing, okay? Liberals, okay? What's the worst thing you can call a liberal, do you know? The worst thing you can call a liberal.
I would probably say conservative.
No. The worst thing you can call a liberal is a racist. And you call a liberal a racist, especially if you're a minority, they beg, they take a knee, they beg for forgiveness, they fall down on the floor, they get in a fetal position. people have been calling me racist forever. It's never stuck because I know I'm not. I have I'm a black parent. I have an interracial family. It's absurd. It's stupid, But they think that will work on conservatives because it works on white liberals so well, and that's why they're taking that racism is not having a difference of opinion. It's an action. It's an action, and but they've changed it, and they're turning our schools with critical race theory. They're turning the students into the Hitler Youth.
Well, exactly what I was going to say. This is exactly what happened in Germany because Hitler came flat out and said, if you can get the children, you can have the country.
Well, look at what they tell. One of the things they've been telling kids is when it's holiday time, we call it Christmas season, but they call it holiday time, that when you're at the table with the family, that's when you're supposed to make your case. Remember, they were doing this before the election. You're supposed to, better as a kid. This really started, after Parkland, when they had the student activist out of Parkland. They got this thing where the youth, and who's that global warming kid from Europe? She combats... Yeah, Greta, whatever her name is. The youth think they have been taught that they understand a way of the world that we old fogies don't, and they know they're wiser than we are. And it's their job to educate their parents. And that's the Hitler Youth. The Hitler Youth was about brainwashing parents, keeping parents in line, and reporting parents. And when this story broke yesterday about the Justice Department classifying opponents of critical race theory, these parents, as domestic terrorists, they were showing footage of the school board meetings. And I saw one shot. It was a parent opposed to critical race theory being tackled to the ground by 3 police officers. And I want to throw this out to you guys. The Republicans, obviously, we support the police, but look at what they've done. They're arresting parents opposing critical race theory in school board meetings. It's been happening for months. Look at what they did during the COVID lockdowns. Remember in New York, there was a report. Somebody reported that there were too many people in this house, and they went and pulled Jews out of the house and were arresting them because there were too many Jews in that house. And the police, as much as we support them, look at what they're doing. Look at what they're doing.
Exactly. They're arresting pastors in churches. So that's where I'm just kind of, in my opinion, the police at some point are going to need to decide. Are you going to uphold your oath, or are you going to follow the federal government? Which brings me to my next point. Keep listening for those words. We need federal law enforcement to intervene. We need federal law enforcement. Lori Lightfoot calling for federal law enforcement. This is the goal.
Well, there's this. Okay, thanks. I think I was watching Jesse Waters last night on the 5. He said this, and I think he's right. The banks have huge lobbyists in D.C., and I imagine the bank lobbyists are lobbying hard to have that part taken out. That part may not be in the final bill. And because what's going to happen is is going to be what caused the bank crashes during the Great Depression in 1929. People are going to run to the banks and withdraw all their money, and there's not enough money in there to give the people, just like in 1929. And it's even worse now because they didn't have digital technology then.
Well, I can't, but that's my opinion. I just think the Biden regime are put down all the way on the gas. But going to the abortion thing, let me tell you what they did in Pennsylvania yesterday.
We got to be quick. I'm really late for a break.
So some Democratic lawmaker introduced a bill. It was in just opposition of Texas's heartbeat bill that people are only going to be allowed to have 3 children, and then the men will be forced to have vasectomy.
Oh, really? This is like China now. So we're China.
Pennsylvania, yeah,
That's crazy, Tom. That's crazy.
a joke, but we have GOP lawmakers that outweigh Democratic.
Well, see, what they do is... Well, listen, I got to run. I'm very late for the break. I'll be in big trouble. All right, take care, Andrea. Thanks for the call. We'll be right back.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beat. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
If you suffer with diabetes, did you know there's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life? And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority. At the Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name-brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and extra depth to stop diabetic foot problems before they begin. Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes is preventable, and one of the preventable measures that is most effective is wearing the proper shoes. Call the Soul Authority at 954-597-7060 or online at thesoulauthority.com. That's THESOLE authority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
Hey guys, we're back. 26 minutes after the hour. I apologize. This will be a very short segment. I went really long on that break, and I've got to catch up during this segment, or we'll have a traffic jam from now until the end of the show. So I am going to have a short segment here. You know, Laura Ingraham last night, she said Republicans are walking into a trap on this Facebook oversight and this whistleblower. You know, the Facebook whistleblower is not a whistleblower. The Facebook whistleblower, not only is she not a whistleblower, she is working with Facebook and the Democrats and the mainstream media and the political establishment. What they want, and they're going to get it. They've been pushing for this for years. What they're going to have eventually is they're going to have oversight over social media and internet content like there is with the FCC with broadcast media. And they've been wanting this for years, and they're using the Capitol. You know, the day of the Capitol breach, I was very angry because I knew as it was happening, and I know what really happened, and I'm not talking about what really happened. I'm talking about what the left. I knew what the left were going to do with that forever. I knew. I talked about it right then and there. I was up online talking about it right away. That for the rest of my life, I'm going to have to suffer the consequences of that. And I know what really happened. I don't want to get sidetracked into that. They are going to use the Capitol breach, and they're doing it to get their whole agenda through. That's critical race theory, domestic terrorist thing with the parents is part of it. And they believe there's too much flow of information going on social media and on the internet. They're focusing in on Facebook And the reason they're focusing in on Facebook is because most people on Facebook are middle-aged and older white people. They figure Facebook is where MAGA is. So they want they want Facebook to be the first regulation because they figure it's a way to control conservatives, white MAGA, white conservatives, white Republicans, and silence them. That's their first phase. But once they get their nose into it, the entire internet, not just social media, every aspect of the internet will be under their control. And they want it under their control so they can control the messaging. They have lost the messaging. They've lost the dialogue. They've lost the ability to make the narratives. We're making the narratives. You are making the narratives. Trump. And that's what they're doing here. And any Republican who supports any type of oversight over anything on the internet is either stupid or working with the other side. And I think most of them are working for the other side. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. It's Greg.
Hey, Greg, too. What's up?
Yes, listen, as far as, I'm listening to the commentary, and Brian, who's the greatest influence on your daughter and children in general? Who's the greatest influence?
Oh, well, parents. Me and my wife, yeah.
You better believe it. And that's where my kids get their direction from, me. And we talk, we spend more time than they do with their teachers. And that's where I think we're missing the beat. Parents need to instill conservative values, moral values upon their children, not school teachers. They'll come home and talk to me about this, critical race theory. And I go, listen, we're not racist. I go, listen, we don't distinguish between black and white in my household. My kids asked me that when they were...
But don't you, Greg, listen, don't you understand? What they're going to start doing is telling the kids not to talk to their parents about it so the parents don't know. Okay? There's a big shift going on here.
Scary concept. And let me ask this question. How do we turn it around? First of all, I know you're going to bash me for this already. My kids go to private school. I'm one of those rich ones who'll say, oh, well, you can afford it. But at the same token, I'm not going to run for a school board where my kids don't go to school.
Well, the private school's not the answer for a couple reasons for people that can afford it. Because when kids go to college, no matter what you've done, they like I remember we had years ago, Joyce Kaufman, radio talk show host Joyce Kaufman. She, Jewish, strong supporter of Israel as her children. She sent her daughter to Columbia, came back after one semester for the holiday break, and she was talking about the plight of the Palestinian people. You know what I mean? So, you can send your kids to a very strict conservative Christian private school. They get into that liberal university, and they're but the way to handle it, I told a caller this in the first hour, we have to do a massive recruitment for conservative teachers.
Teacher salaries don't foot the bill. You can't raise a household on a teacher salary under $50,000. You can't simply do it. After taxes, you can. But let me ask you, your daughter survived the Florida state school system, right? She went...
Well, first off, they didn't have this type of critical race theory in the schools then. She's been out of high school for a few years. She's 22, and plus, she's got me and my wife. It's a little different, but most parents don't have the time or the energy because they're tired from working, and people work crazy hours and everything else, and they just don't have the time to get to it.
Well, they should make the time. And secondly, you know who we have to thank for Attorney Garland not being on the Supreme Court, as well as Amy Coney Barrett? I know who disappointed you on the Trump election. Who do we have to thank for that? Mitch McConnell. I know you bash him constantly, but Mitch McConnell held up Garland's appointment.
Yeah, broken clock. Broken clock. Well, could you imagine Merrick Garland, this crap that he's pulling now, in a Supreme Court confirmation hearing? None of this type of thought would have come out. He'd have lied through his radical teeth during those hearings and he would have sounded very reasonable.
Attorney General, I listened to it when he was being, questioned by Congress, and he seemed like a very moderate, temperate person. He is not. He's one step above Obama in his radicalism, and it's shocking what's going on. The FBI going into our schools and investigating parents. This country, I'm starting to get worried myself personally. I'm not one to doom and gloom, but we're going down in a direction that. How do we turn it around? That's my question to you.
I told you, the only thing we can do is get conservatives into the school. If we can get conservatives into the classroom as teachers and they become administrators and things like this, this will get phased out.
To accomplish it?
Well, sometimes things take a long time. Sometimes, and the Democrats have been playing the long game. And we've got to play the long game. I know, it's very hard for people to go into teaching because it doesn't pay enough in many ways, but, that's why most teachers are so young or so old, or there's so many women, their husbands have jobs. So there's a lot of good conservative women out there. We got to get more lady teachers that are conservative in the classroom. Let their,
Yeah, I'd like to hear a teacher call in. I mean, maybe they're at school already. They don't have time to call into your show.
Yeah, and if their voice gets recognized, they'll be in trouble with the radicalism that's going on in the schools. Hey, Greg, I got to run for a break, but thanks for the call. Let's take our break. 35 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Brian Craig here. When it comes to auto repair, you want a garage that you can trust. Someone that will only do work on your car when your car needs work. Introducing Champagne Automotive in Boca Raton, the latest sponsor of the Steve Kane Radio Show. Tom called in on the radio to tell us about his experience with Champagne Automotive.
Hi, this is Tom from Tamarack.
Hey, Tom from Tamarack, what's up?
I just want to tell you guys something. I spent the last 2 days trying to get brakes for my car. I was leaving the house yesterday to go try another place that had a lower price. They wanted $800 for the brakes. And that advertisement came on for Champagne. I live in Western Tamarack. I said, let me take a drive up there. Well, I was almost blown over how friendly, honest, old school these people are.
Old school, that's really the term that really describes it.
But let me tell you, the guy I had gone to previously wanted $800. He said, well, you need to take your power steering fluid, and Ed, the owner, put the car up on the lift, pulled the wheels, because you don't need brakes, and I about fell over.
Wow, well, tell me the end of the story. You got me hooked.
So it wasn't that your vehicle was misdiagnosed at the other place. You were dealing with a crook.
Oh, absolutely. This guy wanted to sell me everything but a washing machine. I don't want that.
Now, this is our new sponsor. We have wanted for a long time to have an auto repair shop. When it comes to auto repair, that is the most difficult category for us to find as an advertiser, because most are like this guy you were dealing with the other day over in Tamarack. They're crooks. And we found Champagne Automotive. Ed, who's the owner, is a listener of the program. They come very, very highly recommended. So I appreciate you calling in and telling us the good story. Now, Champagne Automotive, they're in Boca off Spanish River Boulevard, immediately west of Dixie Highway. The number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Hey guys, welcome back. 38 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. You MAGA people know who Dan Scavino is, right? Dan Scavino. He's President Trump's internet guy, his social media coordinator when he had social media. You know who he is. He's a good guy. Very good guy. You know who everybody knows Dan Scavino. That's MAGA. Well, the January 6th committee sent him a subpoena. And CNN and the January 6th committee are having a meltdown. You know, a lot of you guys, you don't watch any of the liberal media, but you should. Listen to this. This is CNN. More than a week after subpoenaing former Donald Trump aide Dan Scavino to cooperate with its investigation into the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol, the House Select Committee investigating the attack has been unable to physically serve the subpoena to him, according to multiple sources. And my internet connection on my iPad keeps crapping out, so I don't know if I can read more of the story to you, which I desperately wanted to read to you. I was only in the middle of it. We're so dependent upon the internet, man. Hold on, let me scroll down again. Live radio, people. Live radio. In the old days when we had to do everything by newspaper, oh my goodness, that was a mess. Can't get the new paper this early. It was a mess. Let's see if it'll work this time. The news comes just days before the committee's deadline for Scavino and 3 other close allies of President Trump to comply with subpoenas requesting documents by October 7th and a deposition by October 15. Scavino, Trump's former White House deputy chief of staff, did not respond to CNN's request for comment. They can't find him either. And my internet crapped out, so we won't get further into that story. But Dan Scavino, basically Dan Scavino's on the lam. He's a wanted man. And, I get it. He's a problem. I wonder, I don't know where Dan Scavino is. Is he at Mar-a-Lago? Does Trump have him put up at Mar-a-Lago? I don't know. But, oh my gosh, that is hilarious. They can't find, well, that's your government at work. I bet Dog the Bounty Hunter could find Dan Scavino. Not that we want him to, but he could, just like he's doing. 1-888-GO-CANE-1, that's our number, toll-free call. 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631, a toll-free call from anywhere. If you're new to the program, you hear me say quite often, the Steve Kane Show is the longest-running radio show in Florida. We are live in the mornings from 6 until 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, with overnight rebroadcast 7 nights a week, midnight till 6 a.m., and we are on AM 1470, 95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, and you can also listen to us on the iHeart Radio app, searching for us by our station, call letters WWNN, 2 W's, 2 N's, and you can also watch us live stream on my YouTube channel. Just search Brian Craig on YouTube, and you'll see me come up. We live stream with a very opinionated, often over-opinionated chat room live when we're on the radio in the mornings, and it's a pretty good community we built up there too that you can be a part in. So if you're new to the program, those are all the different ways you can find us. But, this January 6th commission, they're not looking to the bottom of this. If they were, they would send subpoenas out to the people that had that Fed Fest a couple weeks ago where they tried to recreate the incident. Their determination has already been decided. And they'll catch up to Scavino, and he'll have to comply, and he'll be there, and he'll do fine. Hey, listen, Trump hired him, and Trump always hires the best. So Dan Scavino will do fine, and he'll handle everything, and I have no worries about it. But I think it's kind of funny that they can't find him. All right, now I've got a couple more sound bites I want to play for you here. Biden yesterday, I'm going to play this one clip of Biden, and basically it's 20 seconds of babbling. I have no idea what Joe Biden is saying here, but I know it frightens the hell out of me that he's got the nuclear football. Listen to this.
Parenthetically, when you build a charging station, it's like back in the day when my grandpa worked for the American Oil Company back in the turn of in the 1920 area. They went from state to state convincing people that allow them to put 20,000 gallons of gasoline under the ground. They didn't want them around. But
what the hell is he talking about? And what did he say? And what's this thing in the beginning?
Parenthetically, when you build a charging station, it's like back in the day.
What's I have no idea. Those words don't even mean anything to. Oh my goodness, he's running the country. This guy's running the country. Let me tell you something. Okay, let me tell you something. This bill, what Joe Biden did yesterday. If you watched him speak yesterday, he is incoherent for most of it, but he was very coherent when he talked about Manchin and cinema. And they talk about this Capitol breach where they say insurrectionists were trying to intimidate and threaten members of Congress into doing something. Well, isn't that what Biden's doing? He justified the actions of these people that followed her onto the plane. Biden yesterday justified the actions of the people that followed her into the ladies' room. And yesterday, you could tell he was pissed at them and was encouraging more of it. Is that not an insurrection? What's going on? I throw this out to you guys. Is that a stretch? I don't think it is. If Joe Biden is sending activists to confront two United States senators in the privacy of a toilet stall, which is they did, if he is encouraging them to stalk and follow sitting senators onto airline flights and confront them in flight, isn't that insurrectionist activity? I would say that it is. They're using, and these aren't protesters driving by, We have a woman who's a member of the Congress and the Senate who's being stalked in very private areas. And you have the President of the United States justifying it, encouraging more of it, unless they change their vote to yay instead of nay. If that's not intimidation, if that's not insurrection, then I don't understand the meaning of the word. Because that looks like what it is to me. Never seen anything like this in our public square. Now, we're going to take our last break of the second hour. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Here, the hot weather, it's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day, and that's what the actual temperature is. The heat index, much higher than that. That means your air conditioner is going to work harder and harder, driving up your electric bill. And on the line, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, who's going to save you big, big money on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it, Scott.
Hey, Brian. Well, we do it with the radiant barrier installation and making sure that none of your air conditioning comes to leaking in your attic. But I have Rebecca on the line with me, who's a longtime Steve Kane listener, and we had the pleasure of going up and doing a whole attic package for her at her house on Wednesday of this week, and she put all the ducts in for radiant barrier and all new installation, and she just wants to tell you how her experience was.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew were very, very polite, and they did the work at a very
I don't know what the hell is going on. I can't get on the freaking internet on my iPad. Unfreaking believable. Steve Kane Show. Oh, hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
That's 954-922-4633, BrightonDentalCare.com. He's just the best.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Okay.
Just WWN.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. Good morning. You're on the radio. Yes, you're on the air.
I am, this is my third getting through, so I'm a new listener.
Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome.
I use a sheet. I love my slippers, and I wanted to tell you that I did a little research on who paid those illegal immigrants to harass Kristen Sinema in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Disgusting. Yes, who did? Guess who paid them? George Soros.
Uh-huh.
Remember their names, but I'm driving them.
Their names don't matter. They're useful idiots. Yeah, they're useful idiots, you know. Yeah. And, you know, I noticed, you know, I've been watching this talk all week about the cinema thing, and no one's focusing in on the fact that one of them was a man who went in the ladies' room, which is like a crime.
Unbelievable. And yet when a Democrat does something, they never get in trouble.
Well, Sinema's a Democrat.
But when the Republicans do something, wow, watch out.
If they would have had MAGA hats on, this country would be at a standstill right now. The media would be in total meltdown mode if they had MAGA hats on. That'd be it. Mm-hmm. I mean, remember what they did to those Covington Catholic school kids that were harassed by the fake Indian? You know, and they branded them all these terrible things that they weren't these children because they had MAGA hats on. Yeah, they'll probably make, you know, these activists that have been following Sinema around. They may be named the Time Person of the Year. It's coming up that time of year.
You're right. And I also know that John Paul Sullivan of Salt Lake City, Utah, who's a member of Antifa and Black Lives Matter, well, come to find out, he was the one who instigated the January 6th.
Well, John Sullivan, he's fake MAGA, he's Black Lives Matter, and he was in MAGA gear. He's the one who actually took the video of the Ashley Babbitt shooting. And he was the one, he was paid $30,000 by the media to go in. He was arrested. He's been arrested, charged, and the money was taken away from him that he was paid to. So, it was about that, yeah. And shockingly, he was. I guess they were so embarrassed they had to arrest John Sullivan.
Yeah, exactly. But so anyway, I had a friend there listening to Donald Trump, and a white school bus pulled up, and all these people got out with black helmets, black outfits. And I'm willing to bet it was Antifa. That's what I'm...
Well, the thing is, about the Capitol breach, we have ideas, right? And we saw that they tried to do a replay of it at the Fed Fest a couple weeks ago. But we're never going to get a definitive answer because no official investigation is ever going to tell us what really happened on January 6th. They do not want us to know. And listen... You know, I will be MAGA for the rest of my life, okay? My wife will probably, you know, when I die, I'll be put in the casket in a MAGA hat. But I am going to spend the rest of my life defending the MAGA people who are being slandered by the Capitol breach. You know, this thing I started the show with today, with the Biden Justice Department declaring parents opposed to critical race theory at school boards domestic terrorist. They're using the Capitol breach for that. They're using the Capitol breach to justify this. And Garland, the Attorney General, during his confirmation hearing, he was asked by, I'm assuming a Republican, I don't remember who asked him, but a Republican, why is January 6th an insurrection, but Antifa throwing Molotov cocktails through the windows of federal courthouses is not an insurrection. And Garland, he said, didn't even think about it. He said because the breach disrupted government business that was going on. Antifa attacks at night when the courts are closed, so they're not disrupting government business because the courts are closed at night. He said this. It was in his confirmation hearing. I'm not kidding. You know, and yeah, isn't that something? He's a mental patient. He's a mental patient, and that's exactly what he said. So school board meetings when parents get up and speak, and they go over their time, right? Because they only give you 2 minutes or however long they give you. You are disrupting government business. You are an insurrectionist. That's what they're doing here. They're using everything in American law. Most of it is legal precedent, right? All these cases that always get cited, you know. So they're using the Capitol breach as a precedent to do everything they're doing. Even this fake whistleblower from Facebook, her beef is that Facebook's responsible for the Capitol breach, right? You've heard her talk about that this week. The Capitol breach is being used for them to do everything. And they're getting away with it because we're not in power right now. They are in power.
Exactly.
I mean, I've seen there. Well, welcome to the program. Thanks for calling. New listener, new caller. And she's got her MyPillow 100% Giza cotton dream sheets and her MyPillow My Slippers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, MyPillow.com. This incredible new special they have on. If you go to MyPillow.com, click on the television specials, you can now get the MyPillow mattress topper for 50% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. I sleep on this mattress topper every night. It's changed my life. You know, the change in my life from the MyPillow mattress topper was an equivalent of the change I experienced when I got LASIK vision correction. I was legally blind before LASIK vision correction. LASIK vision correction gave me 20/15 vision. That's better than 20/20, better than perfect. It was an amazing transformation in my life. That's the kind of transformation I got with the MyPillow mattress topper. So it makes a great Christmas gift, a great gift for yourself too. If you've put off getting a MyPillow mattress topper, you have no excuse now. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the television specials, use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, and order yours for 50% off. You can also order by phone, 800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hi, yes. I was just calling to let you know I was trying to watch Newsmax, Real American News. That's on
Roku.
On Roku. They have actually removed those stations off Pluto.
Oh, Pluto?
Who? The Pluto?
Yeah, I know what Pluto is. Yeah, I got Pluto. I don't watch Newsmax there, though.
Yes, well, they have removed, because I've gone through the whole list of stations, and I Googled it, and they have...
Well, you know, Newsmax TV, you know, okay. Fox News is celebrating their 25th anniversary right now, okay? Right? These constant things. And Fox News went on the air in 94, and no one watched it until the 2000 election between Gore and Bush and everything that happened then during the recount era. And the reason that Fox News became number one is because they were reporting things that the mainstream media would not when it came to the Florida recount in 2000. And I was down there at the recount room every day because they were recounting the ballots down the street from where I lived at the time. I went down there every day because the entire national media was there. I've even made it far in the background of a couple of History Channel documentaries I've seen on that. But because I was there every day, and William LaJeunesse, who's still with Fox News, was covering it right here in town. And when he wasn't doing stories and he was waiting between going live, I would see people go up to William LaJeunesse from Fox News. People just discovered Fox News in 2000 and would thank him. Thank you. You guys are reporting the news that no one else will. Well, here we are, little more than 20 years later, and they became sellouts just like CNN and NBC and the rest. And now we have Newsmax, who is poised to be number one. And the cable companies and the others saw what Fox News did. Nobody cared. They became number one. No one's been able to catch up. And they're working hard to stop Newsmax from becoming number one.
I cannot find on there, on Pluto, Newsmax.
Well, you got to watch it somewhere else then. I mean, you can, you can watch Newsmax. I'll tell you a couple things about Newsmax, okay? They live stream their entire programming on YouTube. I watch them on YouTube all the time. The Newsmax app is completely free to download on any device. I have the Newsmax app on my iPad, my iPhone, and my televisions at home. And the Newsmax app live streams Newsmax 24 hours a day. It's completely free. You don't have to pay for it like One American News and their app. And they also archive all of their shows that during the day.
To find out why. Pluto said they removed them because of their violence.
That's right. Yeah, they're blaming Newsmax, One American News, and Fox News for the Capitol breach. It's like I told the last caller. The liberals are doing a purge, and they're using January 6th as an excuse to do it. Listen, I got to run for a break, but I'm sorry about Pluto, and I don't know if that's true or not. I just know the caller told me that. All right, let's take a break. Third hour begins now. It's 8 a.m.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man. I went up there and got me some used tires, and when I went up there, man, he was very courteous. My whole family's going for now, man. It's everything you said it was going to be, man. I appreciate you for that, man, and Mike's a great guy, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. It's here, the hot weather. It's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day, and that's what the actual temperature is. The heat index, much higher than that. That means your air conditioner is going to work harder and harder, driving up your electric bill. And on the line, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, who's going to save you big, big money on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it, Scott.
Hey, Brian. Well, we do it with the radiant barrier installation and making sure that none of your air conditioning ducts are leaking into your attic. But I have Rebecca on the line with me, who's a longtime Steve Kane listener, and we had the pleasure of going up and doing a whole attic package for her at her house on Wednesday of this week, and we put all new ducts in for her, put radiant barrier and all new insulation. And she just wants to tell you how her experience was.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew, were very, very polite, and they did the work. It's a very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old ducts, come in and put in all new ducts. It's extra additional ducts to make my system work better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect, so I'm familiar with what the cost should be and how much time it takes to do everything. And let me tell you, I was very impressed, and my attic looks like a spaceship up there with all new ducts. They took out the metal duct that was insulated and leaking on my ceiling, and they put in flex duct, which is what we use now in the industry. But let me tell you, what I paid for the entire package should have cost just to remove the old ductwork and install new ductwork. And I got everything for less than what I thought.
Well, that's amazing. And when Scott from Cut My Kilowatts brings that radiant barrier into your attic, it pays for itself, because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house cool and comfortable for you, which means you have lower electrical bills. It works. Listen, guys, give Scott at Cut My Kilowatts a call. His number's listed at SteveKaneShow.com, as is his website if you miss it. His number, which rings directly to him,
Steve Kane Show.
954-939-1500.
Hold on.
954-939-1500. That's Scott from Cut My Kilowatts.
Seniors, Medicare open enrollment is quickly approaching. Make sure you get the right coverage. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-COCAINE 1. That's 1-888-COCAINE.
All right, 5 after 8. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. You know, Debbie from I Will Advisors, no matter where you are in Florida, she can help you with your Medicare. All right, you Medicare recipients out there. If you're in the Panhandle all the way to Key West and all parts of Florida in between, Debbie at I Will Advisors can help you. And also, Scott from Cut My Kilowatts and Tom Laporta, if you're out of town and not in South Florida, give them a call, okay? You know, Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, he's been helping a lot of Steve Kane listeners in other parts of Florida. So give him a call and cut your electric bill, all right? 954-939-1500. 954-939-1500 for Scott at Cut My Kilowatts. All right, let's go to the phones. Good morning. Good morning.
I got one comment. You know, the Equalizer started with a white guy, went to a black guy, which was fine. I like Denzel Washington's great. But CBS now has an Equalizer woman, black woman. That's hilarious. And that kid's not even...
Okay, well, no, hold on. Don't hang up. Don't hang up. I want to talk to you about that. No. You said something. What did you say? You're talking about Queen Latifah as the new Equalizer. You find it... What do you find having Queen Latifah as the new Equalizer?
I find it hilarious. It's pathetic.
Okay, slow down. Okay. You find it hilarious and pathetic. Can you explain to me what is hilarious and pathetic at the same time about Queen Latifah being the new Equalizer?
Yeah. First of all, this started with, I forget the guy's name, as the Equalizer, which I enjoyed. And now CBS bends over backwards to bring a black woman in a man's role. And
a man's role? The man's role? Who is the Equalizer?
Equalizer is a guy that he's basically someone who rights wrong.
Yes.
Sees something that's wrong and fixes it.
Yeah, but is the Equalizer a real person? Really, the original Equalizer of the 1980s was a real person?
Story.
It's a fictional character.
Yeah.
Okay.
It started about 20 years ago.
Okay. It was in the 80s. I never watched The Equalizer. There was some Brit that hosted it. Never watched The Equalizer. And I didn't watch... Well, slow down. The character is a fictional character. So the character can be either white or black, male or female. In fact, the original Equalizer was English, an Englishman, right? The original Equalizer was a Brit. So what about the fact that the Equalizer is now an American? Has that gotten away from the tradition?
Well, the Equalizer went from a Brit to an American. Denzel.
Yeah, but how can the Equalizer be an American? Doesn't that also offend you? Since the original one was, since they've gotten away from. Come on.
What the Equalizer was was originally.
I don't know what the Equalizer. He was the Equalize the System of Justice. Right the Wrongs. Yeah, it came on right before or after The Finder of Lost Loves in the 80s. I remember the show. I just didn't watch it. Yeah. But you're telling me that right now, parents opposed to critical race theory are being classified by the Department of Justice as domestic terrorists, and you're upset that a fictional character has switched from man to woman, from white to black. You're concerned about the Equalizer, not what's really happening. You're worried about the world of television scripted drama. I think you said it's pathetic and hilarious.
CBS is nuts.
Well, it seems to me your priorities are a little messed up.
What's that?
Your priorities are a little misplaced, a little messed up.
Listen, you have a good day, Brian.
Whatever. Yeah, my day will be fine. I don't know about yours. Listen, unfortunately, I didn't get to where I was going with that. But let me tell you about that guy, okay? Let me tell you about that guy. The MAGA movement is not a racist movement. In fact, the MAGA movement is one of the most diverse, truly diverse political organizations that this country has ever known. You go to a MAGA rally, you go to a Trump rally, you will see diversity like you've never seen. All kinds of diversity. Gender, ethnicity, all kinds of things. But they want to call us racist. So what happens, there's a lot of fake MAGA out there. There's a lot of fake MAGA out there, like that guy. And since there's not real racism, they have to create it. And I was talking to Steve about a week ago about the seminar callers that the great Rush Limbaugh used to talk about all the time. And what seminar callers are activists. Activists that work usually for the DNC, if not the DNC directly, one of their affiliate liberal activist organizations. And they call talk shows pretending to be conservative. They've always done this. I remember when Air America Radio went on the air. Remember Air America Radio? Al Franken, Randy Rhoads, Rachel Maddow. Who else was on Air America? Janine Garofalo. And every call to Air America was a call like this. Oh, Al Franken, I've been a Republican all my life. And it was the same thing to calling Janine Garofalo, Randy Rhoads. I've been a Republican all my life, but George Bush has gone too far. And I'm voting for John Kerry. I was raised a Republican, born a Republican. My parents are Republican. I've voted Republican, but no more. Fake conservatives. So since there's no racism in the MAGA movement, it's a racially diverse movement, the seminar callers call radio shows and try to act like MAGA. They always have Southern accents. Always have Southern accents. Because that makes them sound more like, Joe Sixpack. And they say racist things. And it fails on them every time when they call this program. They can call Clay Travis and Buck Sexton all day and have their way with him probably. But it doesn't work around here. So what that seminar caller thought would happen, fake MAGA, the seminar caller on the line, right? Oh, they got a black woman playing the Equalizer on CBS. It's pathetic. It's hilarious. Because they're fake MAGA, their understanding of what a MAGA person is based on a very inaccurate stereotype. They think we're racist. They think we're white supremacist. They even think we're domestic terrorists now at the school boards, right? So because he's fake MAGA and his viewpoint of MAGA is based on this stereotype that's not true, he thinks I'm going to jump on that. Oh, how can they have a black equal? The Equalizer was a low-rated show from the 80s on a fictional character. Who gives a damn? I don't care if the Equalizer is a non-binary, cisgender lesbian. Whatever. I don't know what all these things are. Who would get upset about that? No one. No one cares. The show isn't even coming back next season, but that's what the seminar callers are about. And I got to tell you, the Democrats are in a panic because seminar callers, we didn't hear from seminar callers for quite some time. And the seminar callers are back, and they're back regularly. The seminar callers are back not just on this show, but on others. All right. Let's take our first break of the last hour, and I want to talk to you about Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation. He's my anti-aging doctor, and I became a patient of Dr. Matez when I turned 45 5 years ago. And, of course, Dr. Mitch Matez he was the first doctor to do this, introduced hormone replacement pellet therapy to South Florida. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is amazing. They're tiny little pellets about the size of a grain of rice before you add water to them. And he inserts them into your hip, and he's a maestro with this. It's completely painless. And what they do is they restore and this is for both men and women, they restore your hormone levels to where they were when you were in your 20s. And it's all completely 100% natural. These are all natural hormones. Hormone replacement pellet therapy is 100% all natural. And what happens, you have your hormones restored to where they were when you were in your 20s. You have more energy. You feel better. You look better. Your hair loss, if you have that, it stops. If you suffer from erectile dysfunction, guys, that problem's going to go away. And it's better than taking the pills because you can perform on demand. If you get my drift on that, women, hormone replacement pellet therapy does amazing things for you. It stops and reverses the signs and symptoms of menopause, all of them. Mood swings, gone. Yeah. Vaginal dryness, gone and reversed. Night sweats, gone. And your sex drive is restored too. There's many other great benefits, and I talk about this sometimes because I've met listeners before and after they began hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Mitch Matez at the Biostation. And when you first see them, I see these listeners, they're like Joe Biden. Then they go and meet with Dr. Mitch Matez, which is completely a free consultation for listeners of the Steve Kane Show. They start hormone replacement pellet therapy. I see them the next time. They're like 6 feet tall. They're standing up. Hey, Brian, it's good to see you. Before they were scooting in like Biden. They shake hands with me. My hand hurts. They're so strong, and it's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Hormone replacement pellet therapy will change your life. It will. I know. I've seen it in myself and many listeners of this program. Give Dr. Matez's office a call at the Biostation. Completely free consultation for listeners of the Steve Kane Show. People outside the Steve Kane Show do not get a free consultation. They get a consultation, but they have to pay for it. You get a free consultation. Here's the number, 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893. And make sure you tell them you heard them on the Steve Kane Show so you can get that free consultation. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
This segment of the Steve Kane Show is brought to you by I Will Advisors. Seniors, medical open enrollment is approaching. Do you know what Medicare options are available to you? Call Debbie at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080, and she will answer all your Medicare questions. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Hi, Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Search for W.
All right, welcome back. A follow-up on a story from yesterday, and this is very important. And this is one. This audio soundbite I have, I do not have it in the computer. I'm gonna play it over my iPad and put my iPad speaker up to my microphone. Okay, I know. I'll get the hamsters going on the wheel so I can. I usually put the sound bites in the computer and play them, but this one I forgot to do before the show. I can't do it now. This is very important, though. What's going on here? And this is a follow-up to the caller who called at the end of the last hour about Newsmax being taken off Pluto. I don't know if that's true or not, but you know. We were talking yesterday about this PR interview that Hannity did with Mike Pence and why he did it. And I told you guys at the end of yesterday's show, the reason I believe Hannity did the interview with Mike Pence is because he had to do it. He was told to do it. And the reason that is not to try to bring the Republican Party together. The reason that they had to have Pence on and they had Hannity do it is because the left, the Democrats, the media are blaming Fox News in part for the Capitol breach. And this is a very dangerous thing for them to accuse Fox News of. It's amazing. Fox News didn't have a correspondent up there filming Ashley Babbitt in MAGA gear. CNN did with Sullivan, but let's not let the truth interfere with their narratives. So Stephanie Grisham, and if you don't know Stephanie Grisham, she was the chief of staff for the great First Lady, our international supermodel. She really is, Melania Trump. She was the chief of staff for Melania Trump, and she was also briefly the White House press secretary. Didn't go too well, but she was press secretary for a while. She's got a new book out, and it's a book of lies, trashing President Trump, and it's just some of the stories that have come out of the book are just absurd, but I'm not going to get into all of that right now. I'm going to play a clip of an interview she did yesterday on CNN, and this is Stephanie Grisham. Let me pull this mic up. I wish I would have put this in the computer. I meant to, and I went to pull it up during the break, and it was gone. So I'm going to use another microphone. So I'm going to put my iPad up to this mic and play it for you. But this is very revealing. This is Stephanie Grisham on CNN yesterday, in studio, sit-down interview, talking about Fox News to CNN.
What was the role of Fox News in the White House?
That's a great question. That's just where we went to get what we wanted out, you know. I looked forward to going and doing Lou Dobbs because Lou Dobbs would do all the talking about how great everything was, and I would just nod and say yes. They, you know, by and large, didn't get tough with us. They just took what we were saying and disseminated it, and I think they're disseminating it to a lot of people who went to the Capitol for January 6th. And
Did you hear that?
You know, again, I've had a lot of time to grapple with this, and I feel horribly guilty about my part in it because I was on Fox a lot.
Was it, to you, like state-run TV for Donald Trump?
You know, a bit. I think there are some legitimate journalists at Fox News who would ask some tough questions, so I don't want to, as a whole, paint them. But I think certainly in the evening, yes, it was. I think more importantly now with OAN, them coming out, I think that's like state-run media. I think, and getting, it sounds like, more and more and more of an audience. And I think those people also are the people who can potentially cause a lot of damage.
Okay. So Stephanie Grisham on CNN yesterday accused Fox News of being partly responsible for the Capitol breach, which, by the way, puts them into the domestic terrorist insurrectionist category. And she tossed One American News in there. One American News is eventually going to go bye-bye. They've not been able to grow. I was a big supporter of them in the beginning, and I have nothing against them, but they've basically been shut down. Newsmax is where you've got to go. But that explains to all of you why Hannity had Pence on and did that PR kiss-up interview. Do not be angry at Hannity. He had to do it. Okay, you see what they're doing over on CNN. And, you know, for most of us, you know, you don't think about January 6th too much. But if you watch CNN and MSNBC, mostly CNN, they're obsessed with it. They are always, they talk about two things. January 6th and COVID over there. That's basically all they talk about on CNN. They're not talking about one, they're talking about the other. And, yeah, I mean, that's just it, you know. I mean, just this week also, you know, Don Lemon's been talking about how January 6th was an insurrection, but the Black Lives Matter destruction, well, those were things that could be replaced. It was no big thing. But you see what Fox News is going through right now with this, and you can hear it on CNN in this fake interview. You know, Stephanie Grisham is the new Michael Avenatti over there. And what happened with Pence, with Hannity the other night, you're going to see more of that on Fox News. They're under pressures that we don't yet understand. There are things going on over there that we haven't been told about yet. We may never be told about it. But it wouldn't surprise me that when the January 6th Commission is up in full steam here ahead, that we don't start to see some of the Fox News personalities called in front of the committee. It would not surprise me at all. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's our number. It's a toll-free call. 1-888-465-2631. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Yeah, hey, good morning, Brian. It's Juan.
Hey, Juan.
Right. Hey, listen, you know what's going on here, and is something that this country, for its entire history, doesn't matter the demographics. There's always been a balance of the power sharing, and minorities tended to vote Republican. You know, the black and brown people, which I'm a brown man, as you know, has always balanced out. So what the Democrats are trying to do by opening up the borders can very well backfire. And here's how. But the first thing we got to do is clean up the voter.
Well, first you got to shut the door of your car because that beeping you can. Well, it's what you're talking about, Juan, is what Tucker Carlson was talking about last night, the Great Replacement Plan. And it is a plan, and they are doing it. That's exactly right. That's why Cubans are not allowed to come here, but from the southern border, you know, those people are, because they're of the right political party. Good morning, you're on the radio. Good morning. Yeah, you're on the air. Hey, Bob, how you doing? Bob Reich, long time no talk. What's up?
They're actually growing. They're adding more slots. They're advertising for more people to join their headquarters. So I don't know that it's as bygone media as you are saying. I think the problem is you give people a wrong impression if you do that. Like, people don't even look at it. Oh my God, they're dying.
Well, listen, I have nothing against One American News, and I watched back in 2015. I started watching them, and they carried every Trump rally when the rest of the media wouldn't. But and they've done some good work, and they have one guy there. I don't remember his name. He's very, very good. The bald guy that does their special investigative reports. Oh my goodness! I mean, he's brilliant. But the problem that One American News has, they have not grown on. They've been frozen out from further growth on cable. Okay, the cable companies won't carry them. They're on very few outlets, and they've brought in some new people, but they've lost incredible good people like Prosobic and Liz Wheeler, and it's even Tommy Lahren, and a lot of the people they have on have zero personality, are quite boring, and I think they've been sold. It was originally owned by this very good California Republican family. I believe, I could be wrong, I think they sold it to someone else, and there's been really no upgrade in the quality of what they're doing, and they've been they will not grow because they're not being allowed to. They're completely frozen out.
The commercials, one of the ones you touch how popular they are. They have multiple commercials now, which you never saw before. Their headquarters is still in San Diego, and they're advertising for more people all the time. And I think a lot of the new people in it are terrific. So,
if they have, well, I mean, yeah, I'm not, I'm not saying that they're bad. I like. Well, I'm not a propagandist. I mean, I got very upset when Jack Prosobic left One American News. Jack Prosobic is amazing, okay? And he left One American News a few months ago, and he was a that was an upgrade to what they'd been doing. And I must say I do find them boring.
Don't think. I respectfully disagree. I think it's a terrific thing, and I prefer, frankly, to Newsmax because I love the stuff that they do. I get tired of people just talking face like they do there.
Well, I will agree with you. It's more straight news. Yeah, and what news has become is not news. It's they give you a headline, and then they like the. Merrick Garland declares critical race theory parents domestic terrorists, and instead of getting into the meat of the story, they have someone from the left and right talk about it. I mean, that's what the news has become, and they tell you what you're supposed to think about the story as opposed to letting you decide. I agree with that.
Here's the thing. We need all the outlets we can.
No doubt.
To represent us, so let's just pay homage to all of them. And
All right, Bob. I got to run for a break, but thanks for the call. I'll take other. I get a lot of criticism for my criticism of One American News, and it's not that One American News is bad. It's not that I don't like them or agree with what they're doing. I don't see really any change from them since 2015. They were this startup in 2015, and the quality of people they have on the air doing the news is pretty poor. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, you got to turn down the volume of whatever device you're listening to me on in the background.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Like the January 6th Commission, they ought to pull a Hillary Clinton and just go in there and say, I can't recall. I don't remember. And that's all they are.
Well, Dan Scavino, who's on the lam and hiding out, they can't find him to give him the subpoena. This is a tactic. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but Bill Clinton did it. This I don't recall. That's a tactic because that's not perjury. No one can prove whether or not you have a recollection. So if you say I don't recall, and then they give you the smoking gun in front of, oh yeah, now I remember, So that I don't recall is the Clintons use that tactic quite a bit. Bill did it a lot during like Paula Jones and all that stuff. Couldn't remember anything. Yeah.
Oh, these hearings, they're fake, and I don't know. That's what I would do, and then I really don't think there's a smoking gun from Jeff.
No, there's a lot that happened. We'll never know. But there's certainly nothing that we did. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, this is not the country that we were in 5 years ago, and that's just the way it is. And the political establishments are cracking down on us. They're cracking down on us and punishing us, and they think, again, they believe they're doing it for our own good, that we don't know, we don't understand. We don't understand what we did by supporting Donald Trump. We don't get it. You understand, these people in government, it's more than Liz Cheney. A lot of them we don't realize because there's marriages and they have different last names. Everyone is connected. Everyone is. I tell you about Obama. I'll tell you about Obama. Like Obama, who's this kid from Indonesia, grew up in Hawaii? Frank Marshall Davis, who raised him, and from the time he went to Hawaii, for many, many years, Frank Marshall Davis was part of the activist group in Chicago with the parents of Bill Ayers and the parents of Hillary Clinton. Come on. That's a connection. Michelle Obama's best friend in high school, I've said this many times, I don't know if you've heard me say it. Do you know who her best friend was in high school, Michelle Obama?
Not offhand.
Jesse Jackson's daughter. Come on. Everyone is connected. Donald Trump was not. This is, Steve, yeah, go ahead.
I have one more thing to say. You know how Biden always says it's 80 million unvaccinated?
Yeah. No, it's not. The majority of the people that are not vaccinated are not Trump people. The majority of the people that are not vaccinated are African Americans and that are liberal. And the reason they're not vaccinated is because of the Tuskegee experiment propaganda that they've been raised with their whole life, and they don't get vaccinations. I can remember when I was in school, some of the kids that were black not having any vaccinations of any kind. It was a big thing, and it's that Tuskegee stuff, and that's the way it is, that's the way it is, and it's not MAGA. They think it is. But they don't
blame it on MAGA.
Well, they blame everything on MAGA now.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, take care. Got to take our break. It's 36 minutes after the hour. Great calls today, by the way. Great calls. Our number, toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE1, 888-465-2631. It's here, the hot weather. It's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day, and that's what the actual temperature is. The heat index, much higher than that. That means your air conditioner is going to work harder and harder, driving up your electric bill. And on the line, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, who's going to save you big, big money on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it, Scott.
Hey, Brian. Well, we do it with the radiant barrier installation and making sure that none of your air conditioning ducts are leaking into your attic. But I have Rebecca on the line with me, who's a longtime Steve Kane listener, and we had the pleasure of going up and doing a whole attic package for her at her house on Wednesday of this week, and we put all new ducts in for radiant barrier and all new installation, and she just wants to tell you how her experience was.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew, were very, very polite, and they did the work. It's a very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old ducts, come in and put in all new ducts. It's extra additional ducts to make my system work better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect. So I'm familiar with
the opposition, particularly the opposition elite and all their solar boys and everything in Silicon Valley media. It's not a big part of the population. And they understand that.
And
they understand
my attic looks like a spaceship up there with all
is the righteous indignation
they took out the metal ducts that were insulated and leaking
in this country.
On my ceiling, and they put in
Steve Kane Show. Yeah, long time no here. Hold on.
We're seeing it, and that's why they're in meltdown. The story, I gave this talk to these appointees, and here's what I said. We're winning big in 2022. We're going to win big in 2024. We need to get ready now, right? We control this country. We got to start acting like it. And when we're going to act like it, we're not going to have 4,000 ready to go. We're going to have 20,000 ready to go, and we're going to pick the 4,000 best and the most ready in every single department. And that's when we really start to deconstruct the administrative state. That's talking of CPAC. Oh, it's the opposite. opposition, particularly the opposition elite and all their soy boys and everything.
$954-939-1500. That's Scott from Cut My Kilowatt.
Seniors, Medicare open enrollment is coming. I Will Advisors has all the education you need to make an informed decision about your plan for you and your family. I Will Advisors specializes in every aspect of Medicare and what options are most likely to help or hurt you. And that way you can get a plan that fits your lifestyle and needs at an affordable rate. Call Debbie at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
All right, we are back 39 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. We've had great calls today since 6 a.m. I must tell you, some very, very well put together callers who understand the way of the world. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. So, Davis and Desperate was Pat Stevens.
Oh, a day late. That was yesterday's show, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But I would hope somebody would remember her that didn't work with her, but that's okay.
Yeah. So the FBI, did they even say what they're looking for in the union's offices?
No, I think a MAGA hat.
So they didn't even say anything what they were looking for.
No, they haven't told us yet. It's an ongoing investigation. They won't tell us.
They just busted in. Yeah. It's just like,
you know, what I was talking about this in the first hour of the show. The New York Police Union's offices were raided by the FBI. You may have seen this in the story. And I was talking earlier about how they endorsed Trump last year, and it was the first time they ever endorsed a presidential candidate, and it went Trump. And this is obviously political payback. I mean, there's no getting around it.
Smells like fish, Captain.
Yeah. Long time no hear, Ford. Where you been?
I'm still up in Pinellas, man. Doing okay.
Pinellas, that's the Tampa area? Yeah. Okay. All right. Good to hear. All right. Take care. That guy there, he used to be a board op at the radio station that I started at with Steve. And during Hurricane Andrew, okay, Steve came with his whole family to the radio station for Hurricane Andrew. And I was there working all night with some other people, including Al Knight, who does the Saturday show here. We were there, and he was there, Ford. And Steve brought it. Not only did Steve, this was in Hurricane, the radio station was in Fort Lauderdale. And this is a long time ago. When was Hurricane Andrew? 93? 92, 94, I don't know, it was a long time ago. And Fort Lauderdale was supposed to be where the hurricane hit. And Steve came to the radio station because the radio station was like a bunker, and he brought with him supplies, mostly beer. And the refrigerator was filled with cases of beer that Steve had brought to get us through the hurricane, 92, yeah. And it was a long night, and then before the hurricane even made landfall, that guy I was just talking to, he drank all the beer. Steve went for a beer, went to get me a beer, and there was no beer. It was all gone. He drank like a whole case of beer before the hurricane even hit that guy. So he's had a rough life. Oh my goodness. We're probably better off that the beer wasn't there for us to drink that night, because we'd have been on the air with it. But oh my gosh. That was a night. I don't know if Al Knight remembers that part of it. I remember that part of it. But Steve did have some other liquor that he didn't put in the fridge. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name?
Hey, my name's Mike. How are you?
All right, Mike.
Hey, the parallels between what's going on now and Nazi Germany are really alarming. When you look at the squashing of free speech.
Very true. Ask Steve.
You look at
when he's here tomorrow.
Those mock trials that they had in Germany against anybody who stood up, and now these January 6th trials. When you look at the forced vaccinations and just.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was talking to a caller in the first hour about this declaring parents opposed to critical race theory at school board meetings domestic terrorists by Garland. And I was watching on the 5 yesterday when they were talking about it, and they were showing some footage from the school board meetings, and I saw this one parent who was tackled by 3 police officers. And and what I was talking about here, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I hate to think this and say it, and it's just a thought. It's not well thought out, but here we are in the conservative movement, so supportive of the police, Blue Lives Matter, but the police, look what they do. Right? They're many of them, obviously not all, but many of them are corrupt bureaucrats. Bureaucratic tools. They're tackling parents at school board meetings and arresting them. They're shutting down businesses during the lockdowns and everything else. The police are not all our friend,
Like you said on the conservative side, we were the people that supported the FBI, and I remember Hannity, and we say, oh, it's only a few, but it's really not. It's systemic, and.
Well, here's the deal. It's not the whole. It's the DC. This is DC is where the problem is. The bureaucracy of DC. Even this school board critical race theory is from Virginia. Northern Virginia is where all the bureaucrats live that work for the federal government. That's a federal government problem, really. This school board thing, because it's almost always in Virginia. There's some outliers, but mostly in Virginia. The Washington, D.C. Beltway government officials and bureaucrats believe that this is their country and we're just living in it. They rule the country, and we are supposed to go along with what edicts they pass. And our support of Donald Trump goes against their will. And they're punishing us, and they're cracking down, and I believe they're incredibly panicked about the midterm election. If they thought things were going well for them in the next 2 election cycles, they wouldn't be doing this crackdown. This crackdown, they're trying to stop MAGA and from being able to organize. But Donald Trump. No, I'm serious. I mean, that's it. Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis.
Anybody that's opposition to them, they are trying to destroy.
Go and look what they're saying about his wife. Diagnosed with breast cancer, 3 young children. Now, I haven't even heard her speak. She seems like a nice person. She looks like a girl that's a debutante, or you see at the cotillion, I've never even heard her say a word. And the things they're saying about her on TikTok and Twitter, I won't even read them on the air or share them. It's so god-awful.
The last thing I'll say is I know that Steve keeps on saying he thinks that we're going to wake up and incrementalism. People held hostage in prison against their will for 9 months.
A Marine's being put in jail, although they did let him out while he's awaiting trial. They let the lieutenant colonel out yesterday because he trashed Trump. That was the deal.
So what do you think is going to be the tipping point that's going to...
That I don't know, but I got a break, and when we get back, it'll be time for the Gold Report. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires.
Steve Kane Show.
Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all
Yep,
the
hold
major
on.
brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van. At the other shops, $175.
I've had so much water. I got to go to the bathroom so bad, but I don't have time. Hey there. I will probably. I got to go to the bathroom so bad, and I don't have time. So what I'll struggle through this last segment, and I will probably end the show early, just so I can go to the bathroom. Well, I've had this much water during the show.
954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Oh yeah, that's just what I need, a pee cup in front of all of you on YouTube. All right, welcome back, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca Raton with this morning's Gold Report. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
Good. How the metals looking?
Metals looking okay. We saw them close pretty much down $9 yesterday at $1,760.50. After testing $1,750, gold held at the support level.
William, we lost you there for a second. Yeah, we lost you. I'm going to try to. I don't know if you can hear me. I can hear you. I'm going to attempt to call you back in just a moment. So let me take a call while I call back. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
To Andrea's call earlier, so I was going to call you earlier, but I apologize. But in any case, a couple things. That caller on the Equalizer
I can hear you now.
Was,
all right, hold on, Al. I'll get back to you in a minute. All right, I'm sorry, William Youngerman. Yeah, the line went dead on me, but I can hear you now.
Okay.
So let's start with the numbers all over again.
Okay. Yesterday we saw gold close at $1,760.50, which was down $9 after $1,750. Silver closed at $22.63. Platinum closed at $956. And palladium closed at $1,851. This morning we got gold up 50 cents at $17.61 after trading overnight in a range of $17.45 to $17.62. Silver down 8 cents right now at $22.55. Platinum up $4 at $960, and palladium down $31 at $1,820. That's pretty much where.
Now, when we talk about the numbers every day, mainly what we're talking about is gold bullion, buying bars, buying coins. But you also work with coin collectors. Can you tell people a little bit about how you can help collectors and what you do so far as those who collect coins as collectors, not just as a bullion investment?
Certainly. For over 50 years, we've helped collectors build their collections, major collections, in fact, especially in U.S. gold coins and world gold coins. And we handle all of the different kinds of numismatics, even including rare currency, and have built wonderful collections for people over the years. And we're happy to work with anybody if they would like to sit down and talk with us.
Yeah, and if you have some coins or a collection, you'll also take a look at that. You can give them an appraisal, let them know what they got and what it's worth. If it, listen, this is a great place, you guys. You got to check it out. William Youngerman, located right here in Boca Raton. The address: 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca Raton, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. You can call them. They open at 10 a.m. 800-327-5010. 800-327-5010. And online, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow. All right, take care. All right, Al, I was using you for filler while I called back William Youngerman, so go ahead.
Okay.
Start from the beginning of your script.
Okay, well, no, the Equalizer call you picked up right away that the guy was had a racist tone to his.
Yeah, he was fake MAGA.
He might be fake MAGA. He might not be, but whatever. You asked me the other day, why am I a Democrat?
And it took you 2 days to figure it out and come up with an answer. So.
Give me a chance to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that I don't believe in the corporate welfare state.
Then you must be very much opposed to this $3.5 trillion bill that's to pay back all the corporate donors to the Democrats.
If 55 corporations are making $40 billion.
Okay, so get back to the script. You don't support the. Okay, get back to the script. You're a Democrat because you don't support the corporate what?
I don't like corporate welfare.
Okay.
The amount of tax evasion that they've allowed corporations to get away with through the years.
Okay, the corporate welfare. Okay, I'm short on time, like you, short on sense, but I'm short on time, and I'm going to end the show by explaining to people this big lie of corporate welfare. Okay, there's welfare, and then there's this thing that Democrats fantasize about called corporate welfare. When you do your taxes, you get deductions for various things. Corporations obviously get deductions for various things. When Democrats are talking about corporate welfare, what they mean is being able to deduct expenses. When they can deduct something off their taxes, they call that welfare, because Democrats believe all money belongs to the government. You know, that's not welfare, Al. What's your next reason that you're a Democrat?
Because the tax system has changed dramatically since 19.
Now get to the next one. We're done with the corporate welfare lie. Get to the next one. I'm almost out of time.
Okay. The next thing is
back to the script.
No.
Get to the next one. Get to the second reason you're a Democrat.
You have a problem with critical race theory, and I don't understand why. Because you have a daughter that's multiracial or biracial.
Oh, you're a Democrat because of corporate or critical race theory? That's new. Oh, get enough. Good morning. Good morning. You're on the air. Okay, I'll check it out. All right, Richie. All right, we're out of time. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. Steve will be back tomorrow, and I'll be here with you live at 6 a.m. Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Everyone who called in today, thanks for calling. Great calls today. And I'll see you tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. live right here on The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Take care, everyone.
Hi, Brian Craig here. I'm in studio with my wife, Kathy, and she's here to tell you about her...
Oh, my goodness. All right, guys. Hey, listen. Thanks for watching. You know where I'm going. I said it earlier. But make sure that you subscribe if you're new and like the video before you go, guys. All right? I'll talk to you later.